Welcome back, fellow students, to an exclusive edition of IE News.
Today we have an insight into our award-winning journalism department from a polished professor, Pat McKean.
But that's not all. We also have an interview with two candidates who are competing for a spot on the Board of Trustees.
So stay strapped into your seats and we'll be right back with more IE News.
On April 8th, an election that affects every student on campus will take place. Our reporter, Michelle LaCour, has had the chance to sit down with two candidates for the Board of Trustees of Long Beach City College.
Hi, this is Michelle LaCour with IE News, and we are here today with Dr. Marshall Blasovsky, who is running for Long Beach City College Board of Trustees, District 1. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
So, in the past, you were a USC professor and also an adjunct professor for Long Beach City College. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I've been a physician assistant since 1974, and I joined the faculty of USC in the physician assistant program, and I became the curriculum director and retired after about 10 years there, and then came to Long Beach City College and started working as an adjunct professor in the allied health program.
And what made you decide to run?
Well, the reason I'm running is because one of the major reasons I'm running is because I was preparing those students in that program, in the allied health program, to become radiology technicians. And when the Board of Trustees discontinued the 11 programs, number 12 was the radiology technician program, and that really motivated me to run. And my students who had planned their whole lives around this, working 2 jobs, working very hard to get in this program, came to me and said, you've got to do something. And community leaders such as Jerry Shipsky and other community leaders and people in my district said to me, we can't have this. And that's what motivated me to run.
So if you had been a trustee in the last term, how would you have done it differently? Do you think you would have been able to restore most of those vocational programs?
Well, I don't think it's a question
or keep them.
Well, when these programs were discontinued, Proposition 30 had just passed, and the budget had not been the state budget had not been finalized. But we knew that, everybody knew that there was going to be money. So I would have held off on these budget cuts, and I would have held off. I would have done some austerity, maybe across the board. There was already furloughs, but I wouldn't have picked these essential job training programs for our young people. I wouldn't have discontinued them.
Would you have picked other programs?
I may have looked at some other programs to make smaller or to discontinue, depending. But
what specifically would you have changed?
I wouldn't. I'm a candidate, so I don't. I'm not privy to all the information that goes on in the board meetings, and they have secret meetings ahead of time. So I'm not sure what I would do at that particular point. I know that across the board there were layoffs of faculty, and I know that they are going to hire 50 more faculty. So I can't really, at this point, I can't intelligently answer that question.
Your opponent and incumbent, Jeff Kellogg, says that the budget must be reduced by up to $5 million. And he also mentioned permanently reducing faculty positions. How do you feel, what is your stance on reducing faculty positions?
Well, I don't think we need to do that, because the president has said that our budget worries are over. It's been in all the newspapers. So I don't know where Mr. Kellogg is getting his figures. I think that he likes to cut programs. I think that's one of the things he does best. And I think that we need a change. He's been there 12 years, and it's time to move on.
So if you were elected, what would you do if budget cuts came along? How would you proceed with reducing programs or staff?
I would be at this point. I'm not gonna completely answer that question because the plans are to hire 50 new faculty. So, at another time, maybe if there's another crisis, and there could be another crisis because the student debt crisis is looming. There could be enough. I just would have to really investigate and study the question. I can't say right now what programs I would cut.
If you were elected, what would be the first 3 things that you did when you attended office?
Well, one of the first things I would do is start listening to my constituents and start listening to the students. And I would not put down any of the student representatives because they talk too long. And if any students, faculty, staff came to the board and to talk, I would listen to them and I would take them everything they said into consideration. Which that's one of the things that's not happening right now at this college.
So you feel that students' needs and their voices are being ignored?
Oh, absolutely.
And why do you feel that way?
Well, I think that I don't know how many students have been affected by the cutbacks. We know that we had demonstrations in Long Beach of hundreds of students and out in front here, but also just the way students are addressed are considered during the board meetings. Mm-hmm. My opponent actually says to the student that you're talking to the student representative that you're talking too long, generally, that happens all the time. So,
what would be the second thing that you would do?
The second thing, I would work on restoring these programs. I think that's the number one thing in my campaign. Obviously, there's going to be a period of learning, listening, and getting to know the college. But restoring these programs is my number one priority. And so far, 5 out of 6 mayoral candidates have said they want to restore the program. Jerry Shipsky, Bonnie Lowenthal, Damon Dunn have all said that these programs, even Robert Garcia, who used to work here, who was on the faculty here or was in public relations, also said that some of these programs have to be brought back. So I believe that working with places like Mercedes-Benz, which is going to need technicians for their automobile manufacturing or automobile assembly, and working with Southern California Edison and with some of the unions in the area, I think we can bring back these programs. And the city of Long Beach, I believe that the new mayor will be very favorable to helping with raising money and helping to bring these programs back. Any
other issues or actions you would take if you were elected?
Well, having buildings that were built with $700 million worth of bond money and then having them emptied is not really what the voters paid for. So I would try to restore trust in the college. At this point, if you asked somebody in the city of Long Beach to vote for another bond issue, they would say, "Are you kidding? Why should I do that? They've already gone against my wishes." So I would try to restore. I think one of the most important things is try to restore the trust of the taxpayer in Long Beach in the college, and that's by listening to students, by enhancing the programs, by bringing back these vocational programs, and making the college and also community programs. I think that there's the adapted physical education program that's under threat. And I think there's more programs like that serve the community that are being affected by this board.
The president of the college currently makes $100,000 a year. Uh-huh. How do you feel about that figure?
Well, actually, it's a big figure, and I think the problem I have with it, because I looked at the figures on the website, and it compares favorably with all the other colleges. The problem I have with it was the raises, the 4% raises he got, and also the money that goes into his STRS account, which is his retirement account. While the faculty hasn't had raises since 2007, he's been getting raises. It's like a CEO that's running a company into the ground that gets rewarded for it. I mean, I don't think that is that's really proper. So I would definitely look at those raises. Apparently, it used to be automatic 4%. I think that that the board members can say something about that now, and I would think about restoring some of the benefits to the faculty that they've been, they've been kind of hanging on, set out to dry in a way,
Right.
By these budget cuts, while the president seems to be doing very well. So,
Is there anything else you'd like to say about your candidacy?
well, I think that I'm going to be responsive to the voters, responsive to the students. My number one priority is the students of this campus, of this school, and I want to see that this to be the best community college, or the best city college, community college in the state. I think the trend toward making the college a transfer college is wrong. I think that we need the vocational programs. Some of the happiest people I meet in my profession as a physician assistant have these vocational jobs in automotive and welding and other things,
Okay.
and they do fine. They're happy.
Great.
So,
All right, well, thank you so much for
Okay.
meeting with us.
good. All right. Thank
This
you.
is Michelle LaCour for IE News. This is Michelle LaCour for IE News, and we are here today with Sunny Zia, who is a candidate for District 3, Long Beach City College Board of Trustees. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit about you. You work at the Port of Long Beach. Tell us what you do there.
Sure. Well, I'm a first-generation immigrant. Came to this amazing country of ours, fled a war-torn country, and came here in pursuit of happiness and the American dream, and started from there. And if it wasn't for that opportunity and that American dream for affordable education, I wouldn't be here. I'm a civil engineer and contract compliance manager at the port, and I oversee about $4 billion of contracting practices over the next 10 years, and really wonderful to be able to work for such an organization that creates so many jobs in this community and beyond.
So what specifically do you do at the Port of Long Beach? Tell us,
Sure.
What is the average person, how would you describe it to the average person?
Sure. So I'm the contract compliance manager, which means that I oversee all the contracting practices and making sure that our contracting is fair, transparent, that everybody has an opportunity to compete for our business, and make sure there's no fraud, there's no collusion, and make sure that everybody has equal opportunity. I also oversee the cost when it comes to the contracting and the expenditures on a day-to-day basis. How can we minimize change orders, contract amendment costs, and if there's a necessity, making sure our public employees are not replaced by contracting out,
Okay.
and it's making sure that everybody is pretty much it's justified and everybody
Okay.
has equal opportunity to
All right, so
compete
you're the
for our
boss
business.
of contracts over there.
Something like to say it that way.
The boss of the money, okay. So you've decided to run. What's one of the reasons that you decided to run for this position?
Oh, it was precisely because of my American dream. Really, my family and I came to this country, and we couldn't have the opportunity at the place that we came from, Iran, obviously because it was during war, and this country gave me so much, and I'm a byproduct of public education and affordable education, and I feel that it's potentially at risk, and I want to make sure our next generation has the same opportunity, and this is my way of giving back.
So what do you think is the biggest threat to Long Beach City College?
I think it's the two-tier tuition program. Now, I think...
Can you explain just briefly what that means?
Sure. It's pretty much Long Beach Community College was the only college out of the entire state, which is it consists of 112 community colleges, districts, and it was the only community college that implemented a system where students who have more money, 5 times more money, and that's for $46 is the base unit cost, and they've increased it to $225 a unit as an experiment. And those who do have that much money, they can have the access to the courses. And to me, that
So what happens to the student who only can pay $46 a unit? They can't get in the courses?
No, not during this experiment. And I think I fundamentally disagree with it because it goes against the fabric of California's master plan education. It's supposed to be affordable. It was free at one point, and I think it creates a haves and have-nots. We shouldn't have a toll road for the wealthy. Everybody should have access to education because I believe it's a human right. I don't think it should be a privilege or a luxury.
So currently there is a budget crisis in Long Beach City College. How would you manage that? How would you go in and restore the $46 per unit?
Yeah.
So that students don't have to pay 5 times that to take a class.
Well, we have a surplus in California's budget, and the governor recently put out the budget, and there's funds allocated for community colleges. They're approximate, but if we are able to generate 600 additional full-time students, we can get about $2.755 million, or let's say $3 million. We should be focusing on those pots of money, grants, state level, federal level. There's so many opportunities that we can think creatively instead of being in this crisis mode of putting it. I think we should not be putting it on the backs of the students. That should not be the case. We really need to bring the focus back on serving our clientele, which should be the students. That's why we're all here. Also, on a day-to-day basis, like one change order that I review is $3 million, and I've been able to cut the cost to like $1 million, $2 million. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis.
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you think you're qualified to analyze the budget and propose different budgetary strategies?
Okay, great. Yeah, well, I have a background in business. I was a small business owner, and I'm also an engineer. I balance budgets, and I used to consult to municipalities and other private organizations, both public and private organizations, in reorganizing their systems so they can recover money and put it back into where it really should be. And at the port, that's something that I bring to the table, and saving money is something that I do on a day-to-day basis. And this money we pay with our partially. Part of the payments are made by our tax dollars. That money should be put back into the pockets of residents of Long Beach, and I can find out those creative ways. And I would really take a look at all our expenditures at the City College and see where we can save that money. And there's also great things that has happened. There's sources of revenue like the small business programs, and looking at how we can expand that and find those creative ways of putting more money back into the district's best interest versus the other way around.
The school recently cut at least 11 vocational programs. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm very disappointed in the cut of those programs. I would really want to visit the rationale. The rationale for cutting those programs, in my opinion, were not compelling. The total cost savings were about $2.44 million. Okay, the professional services contracts that the district puts out, it's about, the line item is $3 $0.5 million. If we can save money that way instead of cutting programs, that's how I would do it. That's only from the unrestricted general fund, and there's other areas. There's also travel and conferences of folks that we should look at, and those are like tangible examples and other ways of cutting costs. But I would certainly look at those avenues first and really look at what we have as far as expenditures and cutting costs and waste instead of automatically going in and after programs or cutting teachers, laying off teachers, and it's just not conducive to, in my opinion, to the fabric of community colleges.
So you're running against Stella Ursua. How do you feel that you're more qualified for the position than her?
Well, I have a master's in environmental engineering. I believe I have a proven track record in producing results. I also have the budget side that I can have handled. I handle millions of dollars every day of public money, and that's something that distinguishes me from my opponent. And I've been able to reinvest that back into the port, which is a public entity. Also, I am someone that is just about making a difference on not just the conceptual level, but let's talk about a plan, implementation. And also I have the ability, I mean, if you ask folks that know me and have worked with me, I have the ability to build consensus and work with all sides. You know, my supporters, I'm blessed to have supporters from all backgrounds, and I take pride in that. And it's because we've worked together. Reaching across the aisle is something that I really believe in, because at the end of the day, our focus should be a unified focus and really bringing it back to the students versus elsewhere. And that's what I plan to do, and work with the board, work with the other members to find empowering win-win situations to make sure that we take care of our students.
So if you were elected, what would be the very first thing you did when you took office?
Well, the very first thing I would do is I would really look at finding ways to, one, I would do a research of all the expenditures, but on a bigger scale, I would set up a task force between the administration, the board, members of the community or representatives from the community, and the students, so that we follow the shared governance model that California has, and we build consensus together, and we're problem solving. And that's something that, again, distinguishes me from I believe the rest of the pack, is that I have that engineering background, and that's what we're taught, to solve problems. And you can't unilaterally do it. You have to work with all stakeholders, and I have that strength and my background, and I plan to bring it to the table and work with everybody and produce meaningful results for the district. So that would be the first tangible thing I would do and focus on.
Well, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
This is Michelle LaCour for IE News.
Thanks for those riveting interviews, Michelle. Up next, we have an upbeat countdown by LBCC's radio personality, Jackie Angulo, where she rounds up the hottest hits on the urban and Latin pop charts this week.
Hey everyone, this is Jackie Angulo from IE News reporting this week's Top 10 Countdown. At number 10, we have Beautiful People by Chris Brown featuring Benny Benassi from his album Fame. Coming in at number 9, we have Vivir Mi Vida by Marc Anthony. At number 8, we have El Perdedor by Enrique Iglesias featuring Marco Antonio Solis. Number 7, we have Loco by Enrique Iglesias featuring Romeo Santos, also another successful single for Enrique. At number 6, we have Hermosa Experiencia by Banda Sinaloense MS. Coming in at number 5, Amor Confuso by Gerardo Ortiz from his album Entre el Dios y el Diablo. At number 4, Hasta que salga el sol by Don Omar, a song that puts everybody to dance. At number 3, we have Drunk in Love by Beyonce featuring husband Jay-Z from her most recent album, Beyonce. At number 2, Odio by Romeo Santos featuring Drake from his second album named Formula 2. And coming in at number 1, I Can't Remember to Forget You by Shakira featuring the amazing Rihanna. A pair of beautiful and talented women. Definitely recommend you guys to check out their music video. This has been the Top 10 Countdown for IE News. Remember to listen to our radio stations here at LBCC, KLBC, and KCTY. This has been Jackie Angulo. Until next time.
Thanks, Jackie. Next, Jason Gastrich interviews journalism professor Pat McKean and his student Eliza De La Flor, who is the editor-in-chief of the award-winning Viking newspaper here at Long Beach City College.
Hi, my name is Jason Gastrich with IE News. I'm here today with Mr. Pat McKean and the editor-in-chief, Eliza De La Flor, for the Viking newspaper. And I just wanted to talk to Pat because he's been such an inspiration to me. When I went to Long Beach City College the first semester, he taught this news writing class that just really helped me to think and write and research and be accurate. He gave me that passion, then I wrote for the newspaper, and as a staff writer and a copy editor, I just really grew and grew to appreciate the program here. So how are you doing today, Pat?
You know, just fine. A busy day, busy semester, but enjoying it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, how long have you been here at Long Beach City College?
You know, it's in my 26th year, so I started in 1988, before email and before the internet, and now we have Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and online edition and all the other good things that go with journalism.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've really got a good program there. How would you say that this program is unique or different than other programs?
You know, we have got a great group of students. We attract students from all over Southern California. I'm always amazed that somebody says, well, I have to get on a bus in Los Angeles at 6 a.m. to get to my 10 a.m. class. I'm always impressed that they want to come here. We have local students, certainly from Orange County as well. Got a great group of employees, Cindy Fry, Javier Mendoza, Chris Viola, new teacher this semester, Vivian Malaulu, and of course Jim Truitt and Nancy Redmond from the past have been great assets to our program.
Okay. I've met some of them, and I know that they are great people. You're right. Can I ask you a couple questions?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. What have you enjoyed about being the editor-in-chief of the newspaper this semester?
It's a challenge. I really like it. It's an honor that we have so many students that loved the program so much, so we've actually had some contributing writers from past staff, and our new staff is really enthusiastic. There's a lot going on at both campuses right now with the integration of more gen ed courses at the PCC, with the LAC construction at both campuses. So there's a lot to cover that relates to students, that relates to teachers and employees, and so it's a big semester, so I'm lucky.
Who would somebody contact if they wanted to advertise in the Viking newspaper?
They can call us in the Viking office, or they can stop by P125 for that, or they can also get in touch with us and we'll give them the contact information for Michal Olszewski, who is in charge of our ads.
Okay. What's the number?
I don't have it off the top of my head.
562-938-4284, and our email is vikingnews, all one word, at lbcc.edu.
Okay.
For coverage, and then for advertisement, it's Viking Ads, all one word, at lbcc.edu.
Okay. Do you guys have any summer classes in mind for the journalism program?
Yeah, we're real fortunate we're going to be able to offer Journalism 80, 81, 82, and 83 combination classes called Multimedia Newsroom. It'll be an 8-week course, Monday through Thursday, probably around 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It includes the lab time. A chance to cover all the activities from late spring into the summer and previewing the fall semester as well.
Super. Well, have you had any really exciting or crazy stories that you've written about this semester already?
We had the State of the College address, which isn't crazy, but it was really cool. It's about 400 people, and it's an overview of where the college is at and where we're going, so that was fun. We're doing some fun follow-ups, which I don't want to touch on yet because we haven't published them, but some interesting stuff from last semester regarding some more tumultuous events at the school. What else have we? I was going to say we have so much right now.
Join a Club Day.
Join a Club Day was fun.
PCC activities.
Also some community events, like we did an open mic night for our first issue that happened downtown in Long Beach, but with students involved, so that was kind of different, campus related but off-campus event.
Also parking rates may be going up. The students will need to be aware of that. Graduation deadline to apply for spring, I believe, is coming up in a few days, so lots of things going on.
Well, what is your vision for the journalism program for the future?
Good. Yeah, good question. We're going to continue to expand social media and online, new technology. We're applying for some grants for some new equipment, new photo equipment, continuing to be accurate, fair, thorough, spell all the words right, but offer
no GFEs.
Gross factual errors to be avoided. Certainly, we're working on getting an app for phone systems as well, so that it'll be easy to access our website and our social media platforms with smartphones.
Sounds like a smart idea.
Thank you.
Well, this has been Jason Gastrich with IE News. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, Jason. That's a wrap for this edition of IE News. And remember, the Radio and Television Department invites you to join our team.
If you're interested in becoming a member of our news team, please call 562-938-4892.
I'm Catherine Evangelista.
And I'm Jacob Rossborough.
Thanks for watching.